free 1-866-310. We'll send you out a no obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotion, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done for professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 22nd day of August, 2017. Hey, how about that total eclipse of the sun? We saw nothing here in Phoenix. Just nothing. And I was on the phone with a lady yesterday afternoon, and she said, wow, could we take 5 minutes off this call? I want to go outside with my son and see the eclipse. And I said, where are you? And she told me, and I said, good luck. And so when we got back on the phone a few minutes later, she goes, yeah, we got nothing. So I know some people were in the path of totality, or the path of totality, and I guess it was awesome. But for many of us, it was just another day. And when these major events, I mean, first time in 99 years, happen in the heavenly bodies, so many people talk about the impact that it can have on Wall Street and Main Street and everyday lives. And I don't know, as far as it goes here at CFRN and Studio A in Phoenix, Arizona, it was just another Monday. The hot water heater man came, installed a new hot water heater that sent me back $900. So far this summer, I've fixed 2 air conditioning units, replaced the hot water heater. I'm not going to say what's next or what else could possibly go. Oh, no. Because I already know. I live in a 2-story house, looks a bit like a castle. My office and studios are upstairs overlooking America's largest city park. And on the roof, way up there is a sewer vent. And if a little birdie decides to build a nest in that vent, guess what? Those sewer fumes back up into your house from under your sink. Oh yeah. So either I'm going to have my buddy who jumps out of an airplane every Saturday. He used to be a Marine paratrooper. Anyway, I guess he could parachute onto my roof and get the bird's nest out. But then how do we get him down? So I have to find someone with a ladder that tall and the stones to climb up there and then fight with Mama Bird to get rid of the nest. The plumber who was out here to install the hot water heater, I said, hey, you want to do it? He looked up there and he goes, no way. I go, well, maybe we could rent a ladder. He goes, no, thank you. So anyway, another story ripped straight from the page of my life. How you doing? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day. Sure nice to see some volatility in the markets. Oh my goodness. We have had a good old time. Now, I told you when the volatility came back, you would hear me say the following words. These are the good old days. I just hope they're here to stay. That's all. Goldman Sachs is calling art. Goldman Sachs says that this is not the decline. Okay? If you read the financial news, if you listen to the radio, if you watch the TV, and I guess there's still newspapers, the calls for a stock market correction are everywhere. A decline of 10% is being called for from just about every pundit on the street. Except me, because I'm not into the prophecy business. We just trade what's in front of us. But Goldman Sachs, who, I'm not a huge fan of Goldman Sachs for reasons I won't go into on this particular edition of the Emini Futures cast, but I will say this. On average, Goldman Sachs, when it comes to their trading division, they have somewhere between 5 and 10 unprofitable days per year. Now, if you're a trader for any length of time, you know that goes beyond defying the odds. Okay? So, my guess is that each year they decide how many losing days you want to have this year. Well, we only did 5 last. We better do 8 this year at least, So they paint the tape in the wrong direction to make sure it all looks legitimate. See, you're talking about politics and finance making for strange bedfellows. From one moment to the next, you don't know if a guy is working at Goldman Sachs, the Federal Reserve, or the White House, or the Treasury Department. It's like a game of musical chairs. So when the music stops, they sit down wherever they happen to be. Is there such a thing as a financially incestuous relationship? I think there could be. Anyway, because Goldman Sachs, honestly, they never lose. They say the recent sell-off isn't the start of the 10% correction. Now, the S&P 500 logged a second straight weekly decline this past Friday, and the cumulative 2.1% drop was the steepest since the 2 weeks before the November U.S. election. There have been some earnings misses, and of course, corporate America's exodus from President Donald Trump's advisory councils have recently weighed on investor sentiment. Analysts who study the market's fundamentals would point to solid earnings growth, low inflation, and persistently low interest rates as a fertile environment for stocks. But Goldman's Sheba Jafari and her colleagues used technical analysis, which that's how we trade. But they specifically used Elliott wave theory, which we don't use. Now, we do have a resident Elliottician who comes every other Thursday and gives you the count on all the different markets. Mr. Ed Corey, he will be with us this Thursday. Also, I should mention that today at 1 p.m., the CEO of Travel Coin, you've heard of Bitcoin, you've heard of blockchain technology. Well, the CEO of Travel Coin will be with us today at 1 p.m. Eastern. And if I could remember his name, Imal Safi. Yes, I spoke with him by phone yesterday. A very nice gentleman, and I look forward to speaking with him today on the show. But back to the news. Goldman's Sheba Jafari and her colleagues used Elliott wave to show that a big correction is still further away. Now, if you're sharp enough to understand Elliott wave, the principle identifies up and down trends in the market on charts. Its basic idea is that human behavior tends to move and then revert in recognizable cycles, especially when traders are acting like a herd. What goes up eventually comes down. A complete cycle has 8 waves. The first 5 are impulsive, while the last 3 are corrective. But that this is just the 4th of 5 from February 16th, it should in theory have at least one more advance. Wave 5 of 5, Jafari said, illustrating with, I've got a chart I can show you. I don't know if it'll make any sense to you, but I'll show it to you. The bigger, more material correction, wave 4, would then come after a full 5-wave sequence is in place. Now, I have nothing against Elliott wave. I just was never drawn to it and never spent the time to attempt to learn it. It has been said by many on this radio show, even by Ed, that if you put 10 Elliotticians in a room together and ask for a wave count, you will get 11 different wave counts. Kind of like calling the IRS. It is important to emphasize that the topping process in January through July of 2015 lasted approximately 7 months from one key week to another. The correction itself ran another 18 months thereafter into the February 16 low. Said another way, it's certainly not going to be a quick process, but the patterns and the wave count emerging do seem increasingly analogous to the 15-16 topping price. And I'll throw in, this is a freebie. Wall Street's biggest bear thinks Bitcoin will surge to $6,000. Now, who is Wall Street's biggest bear? Fundstrat founder Tom Lee isn't so positive on the stock market these days, but he's amplifying his bullish bet on Bitcoin. In a note on Friday, Lee forecast the cryptocurrency could rise to $6,000 a coin by the middle of next year. He said the big driver of this 29% rally through mid-2018 would be greater public awareness of Bitcoin as a method of payment and as a store of value like gold. He is maintaining his 2022 target of $25,000 per coin. And yes, we are the station that brought our audience Bitcoin at $2. It's now at $3,500. And today we are bringing you an interview with the CEO of a company called TravelCoin. So if you have Bitcoin, why do you need TravelCoin? That's what he'll explain to us today. Now I have a chart of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. If you can't see the chart, there's two options. Go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right hand side, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered all the way through the end of the month. That simply means that you'll be able to join the show every day with one-click access. You will be able to see the charts. You will also have access to the chat box. We have a global audience, so if you got something you want to say to the world, you've come to the right place. You can do it right here. There is another door, and that door is located at youtube.com/CFRN/live. Now that's when the show's live. If the show's not live, then simply go to youtube.com/CFRN and you'll be able to watch archives going back some number of years. You can also see those archives on our blog and on our Google Plus blog, which is emini.cfrn.net. All right, let me give you these numbers real quick, and then Michael's going to jump in because he's got a webinar this afternoon. Okay, let's start with the U.S. The Dow's up 155 points. It's 0.75%. NASDAQ is up 77 points. That's 1.25%. S&P 500 is up 20 points. That's almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 is up 10.5 points. That's 0.75%. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 16 cents, trading $47.53 last. Gold is down $4.39, trading $12.9240 last. The Asian markets closed mixed. The Nikkei was down just 9 points. The Shanghai was up just 4. But the Hang Seng, that's the banger, up 247 points. That's almost 1%. And in the European markets, color of the day there is green as well. The FTSE closed up 62 points, almost 1%. The DAX closed up 163 points. That's over 1.25%. And the CAC closed up 44 points. That's almost 1%. So for the, with the exception, I suppose, of the Nikkei and the Shanghai, everything else is basically giddy up and go. I mean, we got movers and shakers all over the place. All green in the U.S., all green in Europe, and the only red in Asia was the Nikkei at the close today. Gold is in the red by $4, and crude oil is positive by 16 cents. Okay, we got much more to come. We got our good word for the day. Of course, we'll be talking with John. Again, we'll be talking at the top of the hour to the CEO of TravelCoin. We'll learn more about this blockchain technology. I read a fascinating article this morning that not only is it affecting the financial sector, but the way content is delivered over the internet and the way writers and producers and musical artists get paid for what they do it's all about to change. See, everything revolves around the big hubs right now. Facebook, Google, they pretty much control the internet. Okay? With this distributed ledger system, that's all about to change. And quite frankly, I couldn't be more excited. So, with that, let's go to Michael, get a recap of everything that happened in the live training room today so he can get ready for his webinar. And when we come back, I will tell you about all the excitement on this S&P 500 E-mini chart. We had some tweets that went out last night, did very well. I'll go over those with you also. I can see your charts.
Okay. All right.
Tear it up. Take it away.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 22nd day of August, 2017. As you can see, we had a red day today. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosure stuff down at the bottom. But we had a red day today, guys. We ended down 160. We lost twice in gold. That pretty much did us in. We took a total of 7 trade opportunities today. So now in a month we're at 1995. That's over 16 days. Over 16 days, averaging 124 per day. On the year now, we're at 25,530. That's over 157 days, averaging 149 per day. Okay. Here we go. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at cfrn.net. And right up at the top, this banner is going to come down. It says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room. 100% free trial. User indicators, learn our strategy. Click here. And when you click there, you'll be brought to this page. Just put in your email and your first name and hit submit. Okay, hit submit. Once you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. Just click on the confirmation link. All right, and that is that. Now, we'll start out here on gold. We had missed this first one right here. That gave some profit. We missed that one. We had 2 legs down here, which were really nice legs down. Then it consolidated and it went sideways, and then it gave a 3rd leg right over here. Now, if you were to look at these legs, you see, take this one, go like that, and that one goes like that, and then that one goes like that. You see how the legs are just about the same size? And then it pulled back and it dragged the cycle up with it. It started giving trades on the other side. So our first one here on gold was +1. And we stopped out here, and it ended up, when we get into a trade, what we anticipate is that this green line is going to turn up and get up into the cycle. When it does, you'll have a higher swing in place. Well, this one just stopped us out, and then it went and did that. And then we got 2 ticks here to put us at -5. And then we stopped out again right there, put us at -13, and that is where we stopped on the day for the gold. There was nothing here during the break on the gold, flattened right out on us. This is the euro. We only had the 1 trade right here. That was a stop out, and then the green line turned up and got up into the cycle, and it put in a higher swing, and that was it. That was it on the euro. Okay, and on the crude, we had this plus 2 back here. Okay, I'm just trying to see if we missed anything in here. We did miss a long trade there that would have been a break even. And then we had a +2. And then we had a break even. And then we missed this great long trade right here. And there was a follow-up at the end of the room that ended up stopping out. And let's see. Yeah, I guess you could have taken a short right here. That would have been a break even right there. And now we'd be looking for a bounce up off the BBC on the crude. Okay, soybeans, we didn't, did we? No, we didn't do anything with the soybeans. We did nothing with the beans. They just didn't, they could not get a trend going to save their butt today. All right, and the ES had some Had some good volatility today, and the pre-market went from this zone to this zone, and then once the markets opened up, it went from this zone to this zone. So there was a long trade there, a long trade there, and that was it on the ES. Okay. Here we go. So if you have not taken a free trial with us, yeah, just go to the homepage here at CFRN.net, and this banner is going to drop down on the top where it says click here. Just click there and put in your email and your first name and hit submit. Once you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. Just click on that confirmation link and you'll be sent everything you need to get into the live trading room. Okay, so here we had a red day. It's the 22nd. We were -8 on the euro, +2 on crude, -13 on gold. That's -160 altogether. Took 7 trades to get there. On the month now, we're at 1995. That's over 16 days, averaging 124 a day. And on the year now, we're at 25,530. That's over 25,530. That's over 157 days, averaging 149 per contract per day. Okay, and that's it. With that, we can send it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking the nation's largest city park. And if you are available, we can send it back out to you.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I'm telling you, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. And Crude just had this bounce off the BBC right here.
Okie doke, I got the screens back. Yesterday, guys, I showed you how price went from zone to zone to zone to zone to zone. I also explained to you how that was a 10-point move each way, basically 10, 20, 30, 40 S&P points inside of one weekly trading zone. We also had 2 great trades off the Concierge Trade Alert to sell 24.23. We had a 3¼ point drop and then a 7¼ point drop. I then gave out a tweet in addition and said to be long from 24.25 to 24.28. That was good for 3 points. And then I said, let's do it again, and bang, there it went again. So I think I told it up on the video or blog I did last night. I think if you add everything together, 40, 50, let's say 40, 50, about 60 points all told between there and there. Oh, and I forgot, it came back and did it a 3rd time. That trade that I had tweeted out and put on the blog from 25 to 28, it did it 3 times. Remember, not only are important prices in important areas almost always tested, but the market is always comfortable trading where it has already been. Today we had a run from the 24.29 zone up to 24.37, 8 points. Price then reversed, came back to the tick, hit the zone, so that's 8 up, 8 down, and 8 back up. 3 times 8's 24 points. Now that doesn't include the Concierge Trade Alert, which I'll show you in a bit. This is a hot knife through butter. Remember, when price hits a weekly trading zone, one of 3 things will happen. The most common is consolidation, which is this right here. Okay, the second is rejection, which is this right here. And the third and the least likely thing to happen is for price to just slice through like it's not even there. Now, what normally happens when you get the hot knife through butter is price retraces back to the zone where it sliced through, consolidates a bit, and then continues in the direction of the slice. That didn't happen this time. Doesn't mean price won't come back to this zone and then revisit the zone. In fact, I think that's possibly a very high possibility. Now, we're doing something unusual this week in that we've got an open house all week, and also I gave everybody, the whole world, the weekly trading zones at the beginning of the week. Because, you know, when I give them to you on Thursday, it's kind of like, oh yeah, well, it would have been nice, but so you got them yesterday, okay? Because I want you to see the power of the weekly zones. If you're out looking for a couple points a day, and that's what we teach our students to do, get 2 points out of the S&P or $100 out of some other contract or some other instrument, $100 per contract per day. That's 2 points in the S&P, 10 ticks in crude, 10 ticks in gold. But these moves that go from zone to zone, I mean, look at this. When this thing came off, what do? You just short it back down to the zone. And when you find support there, what do? You just go long, back up to the zone, trail your stop. We then went from 24.38 up to 24.46, the next zone. That's 8 points. Now there's one final zone overhead. I did put it on the chart yesterday, and that's way up there in the nosebleed section at 24.69/70. We're talking about the market having to climb another 22 points to make it, or 21 points. No, 22 points, yeah. We'd have to rally another 22 points. That's 220 points on the Dow to get to that next weekly trading zone. But today's only Tuesday. So is it possible? Could it happen? Absolutely. Now, we're not going to get into the Concierge Trade Alerts just yet, but while I'm talking about the S&P, I will tell you, I'll even show you, so those of you that want to snap your screenshot, go ahead and snap it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. On the ES last night, the instructions in the email were to buy 24.39. 24.39. That's right here. $24.39. Come on. Here we go. Buy 24.39. And we ran right up to 24.46, the next zone overhead. So that's a 7-point move. And these are 30-minute candles, so once we triggered, it took 2 hours to hit the zone overhead. Not bad work if you can get it. Oh wait, you can. Hey, I found something out yesterday that totally freaked me out. You've heard me talk for a long time about the late night infomercial guy who promises to teach you how to trade in 5 days for $7 grand. Yeah, they changed their price. I don't know if I got under their skin or not, but now their smallest package is $29,000. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They have a medium-sized package for $39,000, and their large package is $50 grand. Now, some would say, oh, well, if they charge that much, it must really be good. Well, I'm going to tell you, a large percentage of our students went through their program. And while they did learn a lot of, interesting stuff, fundamental stuff about markets and technical analysis, they came away still not really knowing how to trade. And that's how they end up on our doorstep. Hey, it used to be I just spent $7 grand, but I still don't really know, you know, when a setup comes along and when to take the trade and all of that stuff. So, I was just stunned, absolutely stunned. We charge such a fraction of that. In fact, we haven't raised our price, I don't think, since 2010. So, I don't know, we might have to have an executive board meeting and, I don't know. I mean, there's inflation and stuff, right? Oh, wait, there is no inflation. Well, I'm sure we can come up with some reason to raise the price. Gotta be a good reason out there somewhere. Okay, Trump's in trouble again. Oh, God. He just can't, man, the guy can't get a break. Vocal supporters of President Donald Trump on the far right slammed his decision to deploy additional troops to Afghanistan and ramp up engagement in the U.S.'s longest war. Many of the president's longtime boosters criticized his about-face on Afghanistan, a war he repeatedly pillared in the years leading up to his election. Breitbart News, the site led by recently ousted White House chief strategist Steve Bannon, had a front page Monday evening full of stories lambasting Trump's decision, referring to it as unlimited war, and comparing his strategy to that of former President Barack Obama. Its top story described the speech as a disappointment to many who had supported his calls during the campaign to end expensive foreign intervention and nation building. Well, when Trump gave Steve Bannon the boot, he had to know this was coming. And guess what? He wasn't afraid. He'll just send out some nasty tweets and get on with his life. Okay, they're complaining about Trump travels too much and it's depleting the budget for the Secret Service. I'm sorry. Didn't Barack go golfing like every other week? Trump's got his own plane. I mean, he doesn't need to fly Air Force One. I think they make him, but he could reimburse them, I guess, if he wanted to. I don't know. Anyway, it's all a little disconcerting. You know, we campaigned for him, we voted for him, and we got excited when he did so much from the time he was elected to the time he took office. And since he took office, it's been gridlock after gridlock after gridlock. Even his own party has turned on him. Now, I warned this audience. I said, guys, you know, so many of us are pro-Trump, and I was too, and I still am. I said, but he is going to do and say things that even those of us on the far right, I don't mean the far right, the wingnut right, just the right, we're not going to agree with everything he does and says. And, well, that's proven to be the case, but that doesn't change the fact that you continue to support the man. You elected him, you should support him. I mean, come on. All right, let me see if John's popped in yet so I can open his mic. Yep, he is with us, so let me open his mic. Hi, John. Welcome to the show. John, you got an open mic. All right, I guess he'll be here in a minute. Google has officially unveiled the latest version of its mobile operating system. Android 8.0 is called Oreo, and it will begin rolling out to Google's own Pixel and Nexus devices in the coming days and weeks. Google is reportedly planning to launch a new Pixel-branded Chromebook laptop later this year. The device should be announced alongside the new Pixel phones, as well as a new smaller version of the home smart speaker. I tried to talk myself into buying a Chromebook laptop, but I just couldn't do it. A group of hackers claim to have entered Sony's PlayStation network. The group named Our Mind was able to briefly overtake the company's PlayStation-related Twitter accounts and claimed to have stolen information from PlayStation users. Microsoft announced that its voice recognition technology has become better than humans at transcribing conversations. The company achieved a 6.3% error rate back in September and has now come down below 5.1%, the error rate of a group of people manually transcribing. Tesla has become the world's fourth largest automaker by value in the world. With its $58.8 billion valuation, it sits above both General Motors and Ford in the U.S., while only Toyota, Volkswagen, and Daimler are bigger internationally. John, are you there? Okay. He's got his mic open, but he's on the phone, I think. Is that him? No, that's not. HTC is permanently cutting the price of its virtual reality headset, the Vive, to $599 in the U.S. The move is a strategic one and comes after Facebook's decision to bring down the price of the Oculus Rift to $499. You know, I just don't think that's going to catch on. I got it right with 3D TV. I missed it on Facebook, I missed it on Twitter, but when I said 3D TV is not going to be the next big thing, at least I got that right. And this virtual reality thing, I don't know. Spotify executives have reportedly met with U.S. regulators to discuss its upcoming direct listing. It's bypassing a typical IPO, and the SEC is looking into the unusual plan. Wonder if they're going to do a Dutch auction like my buddy did, the CEO of Overstock.com. Facebook will launch a dedicated safety check tab in its app over the coming weeks. It will show a continuous stream of bad events happening in the world, from terrorist attacks to extreme weather situations, and show whether your friends are marked as safe. Hey, John, you got an open mic there.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Let me finish this last two little headlines. Intel updated its core lineup of processors to the 8th generation. The new chips are still based on the architecture of Kaby Lake, the 7th generation, but boast a 40% speed improvement over the previous model. Man, that's impressive. And last on the list, guys, WhatsApp is reportedly rolling out a new feature to its Snapchat-like status. Much like on Facebook, the new update will allow users to create status updates with text on a colored background, choose between different fonts, and even add links. I'm telling you, the world has too much time on their hands. All right, John, let's hear from you. How are you today?
I don't know. I'm kind of tired. I worked most of the night. But what I did say yesterday, I can't remember whether I said it on the show, but I think we said we were expecting the market to rally into the eclipse and beyond, which is what happened. Kind of firmed up on the close, and then it continued, you know, when the about an hour or so before Trump's speech, the market started breaking out to the upside, and it really maintained that momentum ever since, right up till this moment. However, we are, well, I guess we're just consolidating here right now. Small little cell there that you've got your cursor on. But if we can get above that and rally into the afternoon, I would consider this to be a pretty big deal. And
look, can you see you can see my chart, right? See how we traded from zone. Well, yesterday we had zone to zone to zone to zone, and then as we moved up, we went from zone to zone to zone to zone. Then we pulled back and sliced through, and now we're consolidating right at this zone here.
Right. And if we slice through this next zone, it'll be very bullish, because
one more overhead for the week, and that's 2469/70.
Yeah. Look, this is a very powerful up bar on the daily. And what I said yesterday, you know, it just looked to me, eyeballing the charts, and especially Facebook, NVIDIA, and a few other leaders, you know, I mean, it just didn't look toppy to me. It looked like a consolidation. And the Dow has got an almost perfect three. Remember, the Dow had a very, very massive run up, 600-point uninterrupted run. And it's just had a little three-wave correction. I mean, this is pretty bullish, you know. So, and look, when you get a 600-point run, it just doesn't give it up overnight. If anything, it's going to continue another pretty big run here. So, you know, we certainly look like we're going to go back and test the upwards of 22, 22.10, 22, you know, 22.100, 22.200, somewhere like that. But if we were to get above those levels, it opens up a whole new ball game. I'd honestly say that 26,000 is probably the next upside target. So, and look, you know, part of, in a way, the steadiness and the methodical way in which this rally has unfolded since the election, where it's sort of been self-correcting. You know, we've basically had a little bit like your chart. You know, we had a run up from the election, and then we had a December consolidation, remember? Mm-hmm. And then we broke out and had a January run up after the inauguration into a very, very strong Jan-Feb run up. Then we had another consolidation, and then we had a run up, and then we sort of backed off into that April-May time, and then we had this kind of run for the roses, you know, into our high, which came a little bit early, not the 21st, came sort of a week or two before that. And we've really corrected down into the 21st, and which I consider to be a very good thing. And now if we rally for the rest of the month in towards Labor Day, I would consider that to be very constructive. And also, you know, what happens beyond Labor Day is a very, very big deal. So, because it sort of sets the trend for the last quarter. And if I would say, given Trump's extremely successful speech yesterday, and I think there's a new era. You know, I think this presidency might be defined as the pre-eclipse era and the post-eclipse era, which we're now in. And just the way he handled himself yesterday in this speech is the Trump that everybody wants to see. And he basically quashed all these ridiculous arguments, saying people, I mean, you know, people who want a thousandth of worth of Trump are saying, you know, this guy not fit to be president. They're not fit to be human beings. I mean, you know, the way some of these people carry on, they're just a disgrace. They just don't get this guy, you know. He's way, way ahead of everybody else. And look, he's got his quirks. And you know, what I think people also are missing in a very big way, and he's gaining, you know, he's still gaining 100 to 200,000 new viewers every day. And, you know, out there is a whole generation of people in the billions almost who are following, who are using Twitter every day, like it's, reading a book or something in the old days. And it's a whole new universe out there that is very matter of fact to these people, and it's very, and with all the nonsense that goes on Twitter, I think Trump's antics don't, they kind of raise the eyebrows of the establishment, and they maybe even turn off the establishment. But out there, he's reaching a base that's much bigger than people think, and it's actually getting bigger. And I mean, look, I'm not particularly a fan of Hugh Hewitt. He's kind of, I don't know why people even listen to this fella, but he said a couple of things the other day that Trump's actually base is getting stronger, and he's definitely, the GOP's, he's even gaining support everywhere. So he's very misunderstood and underestimated, which is why he is where he is today. I think the speech he gave yesterday was very measured, and it was very, very well thought out, and he really made a very good argument for doing what he's got to do. He may have an exit strategy that surprises people down the road, and he may, look, the one thing that Trump has got going for him that no other president has ever had, I mean, he went over to Saudi Arabia. That was, priority one, and get the Muslim world pretty much 100% behind him. And that's where the source of the problem is. That's the source of all these problems in the Middle East and South Asia, is really these Muslim factions and, the Sunnis and Shiites and everything. And he went to the heart of the Muslim world, and he's gotten all of these, certainly he's got the Sunni nations, 100% behind him, and including Pakistan. So I think that, Pakistan has to, will come through and get the memo, and really, work hard to try and make Afghanistan the country it deserves to be, instead of the horrible nightmare it's had to live through for the last 30 years or so. There's no easy way out, just there isn't an easy way out in North Korea either. But Trump has certainly defused a lot of the tension there already, in terms of yelling back and forth at each other. So I'm quite impressed with
Breitbart and Steve Bannon, who owns Breitbart. They really tore into Trump today, and I'm sure Trump had to expect that. He had to know it was coming, and so that just shows he doesn't care. He doesn't care what people say or think. He's going to do what he feels and thinks is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think,
and I think that's good.
Look, a lot of people don't like Bannon. They didn't like it. That it sort of almost marred the presidency from day one, because some of the people I talked to were kind of viscerally against this guy, and I said, look, he's not a bad guy. He's an Irishman. What can be wrong with that? And he's from Limerick originally, his family, but he's got his ideas for the world, and unfortunately, he's been a negative force in the White House with all the leaks and everything, and privacy as well, probably. So having cleared, having sort of gotten rid of most of these people, and Trump has to go to the center in order to get things done. He's got to do what he's got to do, and that's why I'm optimistic that things are gonna get done. And look, the Republicans will be committing suicide if they don't get these tax cuts done, and everything else. And if they're too dumb to realize that, then I feel sorry for them. But if the Republicans want to run the show for the next 12 years or so, they better get their act together and get all these things done immediately, and get rid of people like McCain and Susan Collins and these people, because they're just not where they don't belong in the party. They're not, they're living in the past. They're fighting the last war, and they're just not getting the memo. And it's unfortunate, but this deal should never have happened with this healthcare bill. But you know what? It'll get done one way or another. And most importantly is to get the infrastructure bill going and the tax cuts, and I think everything else should take care of itself. But notwithstanding, the good news is, along with what we've already predicted, we're almost at 3% growth already. I mean, we said 2% second quarter, we're at 2.6%. If we hit 3% third quarter, I'd be very happy. And if we hit 4% in the fourth quarter, then, bringing the tax cuts and the infrastructure on top of that is going to virtually maintain 3-4% growth for the foreseeable future, maybe for another couple of years going into 2020. And that's all you need. You've just got to keep the pedal to the metal for the next 4 years or 3.5 years now, and make sure that we get to the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Trump will manage to get reelected? Do you think he'll even want to run again?
Look, people who say this guy's going to resign or this, look, when a president, I used to say, remember what I said before about Clinton in the first term, it'll take a bulldozer to get him out of the White House. It's going to take a space shuttle to get Trump out of the White House. I tell you, it's sort of like, this guy being who he is. Do you think he doesn't like being pampered with Air Force One and helicopters and security and entourage and the whole 9 yards that comes with the president?
What's this business about he's burning up all of the Secret Service budget? I mean, Barack used to go golfing, every other week?
Yeah, look, it's another Washington Post. Look, it's a gotcha story. This is all they do every day. And by the way, this Fareed Zakaria, I mean, he's got such a high opinion of himself, and he made an ass of himself in front of Putin over in Russia, and he's basically an embarrassment. And Trump gives a great speech. Don Lennon drags this guy up again. The old cronies, and there's an immediate abrasive reaction to Trump. And he's about India and Pakistan and all that. I mean, it's just pathetic, frankly. It's just sickening. They drag and this guy, Karl
Rove.
The Watergate guy, Bernstein. But yeah, I mean, he's saying that Trump's mental capacity and all this. I mean, look. The only claim to fame that guy's got is Watergate. Really, ever since then, he's done nothing else except mouth off. He's so democratic. All these. They don't. There's nothing. There hasn't been a positive word out of any Democrats this year. They haven't got a good word to say about anybody. It just, I mean, it just comes as soon as the Democrat starts talking, just turn the TV off because it's just a waste of time listening to them. It's just crazy. It's very unfortunate.
It hasn't been good.
No, but you know what? The market. Look at the market. It's back up again today. I think this bull market is back on track, and we might be going into a stronger mode now than anybody's seen yet. We might be going into an accelerated up mode here in the markets. Actually, I think the correction in the Google and in the FANGs is pretty much over, and they're probably going to go back up and test their highs and probably make new all-time highs before too long.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, John, our guest is in the house. Are you going to hang around and talk with us for a moment?
Sure. Well, look, I'll just hang back and let you get on with it and see what happens.
No. So, Bert, if you could open up Emal's mic, we'd like to bring him onto the show right now. Emal, are you there?
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to introduce you to Imal Safi. He is the director and CEO of TravelCoin. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you taking time to come and be with us today. I know you just had your ICO, and for folks who aren't familiar with that terminology, in the cryptocurrency world, that's sort of the same as an IPO, correct?
That's correct.
Tell us more about it, and tell us about yourself, and tell us about the story of TravelCoin. And we've learned a little about Bitcoin and a little about blockchain, but tell us about yourself, your company, and why do we need a TravelCoin if we already have a Bitcoin? So I know you have a good reason for that, and I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, Dwayne. Well, TravelCoin has a long story as to how we came here, and it started back when I was 15, and I started coding at the age of 15. Made my first game at age 16. Wrote a 10,000 line program at age 17. I learned, and I was also doing my CCNA, my Cisco certificate at an early age. So I know how these systems and I know how these things all connect to each other. And then, so after school, I worked for a corporation for 10 years, doing system admin and networking and infrastructure. And during this time, I was reading up on Bitcoin, and when you look at how it all fits together, and how the code, and how the economy, and how all the different fit together, you're like, wow. And I use a good analogy. It's like comparing checkers and chess, right? You have the same board, almost the same number of players, but
right,
the rules change, and if the rules change, you get a whole sort of new system, new game. So how is TravelCoin? How is TravelCoin going to fit in the industry? Well, it's all about acceptance, right? And the top two blockchain players are Ethereum and Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
The way Bitcoin works is that it works in a mining background. You got to mine this stuff. You got to use computing power. Whereas Ethereum works more of a contractual basis, and it burns its own fuel, burns itself to fuel the system. So not much mining, involved. So TravelCoin is an Ethereum-based system, and what this allows for is that it allows for a decentralized ticket booking system, and that means there's no owner of this ticket booking system. It's for the people, right? People can post up a ticket, and the people can purchase the ticket. So it's self-sufficient. There is no, for example, Expedia. You got, you have technical guys, you have sales guys, you have all these people to run the ticketing system, right? Whereas TravelCoin will run itself. And what's amazing about this is that I can travel to different countries, and if you accept it, well, I can pay you instantly. Avoid doing 2-3 different exchanges just so you can use the currency in another country. Exchange it back, coming back, right? So you avoid all this, and if the vendor accepts it, hey, awesome. And so we're trying to make TravelCoin go that way and really bring the system to the people so everyone can save money and time.
Fascinating. I read an article this morning, and I don't have it handy. I was going to try to bring it up. And by the way, for the audience, I have a bio and a picture of Amal up on the screen for those of you that are logged in and can also see the screens. Again, he's the director and CEO of Is it TravelCoin or TravelCoins?
It's travelcoins.io, but you can just say TravelCoin, just like Bitcoin, right?
Gotcha. The article I read this morning said that the future of the internet is about to change because of blockchain technology, not because of Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other coin, but because of the blockchain technology. They said that right now the internet revolves around major hubs like Facebook and Google, Amazon, but that will change because of the distributed ledger system, which I'll be honest, I don't fully understand that yet. But it says that as we move forward, we won't rely on Facebook and we won't rely on Google or Amazon to publish, to get things out onto the internet, and or to get paid. Now, I'm very good at scanning headlines and not reading the full article. Can you speak to that? What I just said, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And could you maybe explain that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So pretty much what a ledger is like just in the old times we used to write transactions on on clay tablets, on stone. We used to make a marking, right? Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much a ledger. So if I give you one piece of something, then I'll record it on the ledger. So I'll scratch on the rock saying, I gave you one. Mm-hmm. So this is the same deal. So the blockchain records every transaction, right? And it also is viewable by everyone. So anybody can look at the rock and say, hey, yeah, you know what, gave Dwayne, one of this. So it's recorded there. And why are people saying that, we don't need Facebook and these other companies? Is because right now they're all centralized. They own the information. They own the database. It's centralized. If you don't own something, then it's decentralized, and that's what these blockchain technologies are doing. It's breaking down the walls of the old e-commerce platforms, and So again, it's like you're introducing new rules into the game, and all of a sudden these rules have amazing properties, and breaking the walls between who controls the data is pretty amazing.
So, I mean, I publish the things I write. I publish a number of places: Seeking Alpha, Inside Futures. The list goes on. How will that change? How will that affect me with this distributed ledger? Because the article this morning said that the big players will no longer be the big players, but that everyone will stand on a level playing field.
Yeah. So
now keep in mind, I barely got out of high school, so you got to talk slow so I can get this. All right.
Yeah, for sure, Dwayne. For sure. So, we're gonna slowly see blockchain technology merge into our existing platforms. And what does this mean for you? It means that all the transactions you do nowadays will be much easier and much more instant going forward. And how instant are we talking about? Well, take this. If you're making a transaction from one bank to another, if you write a check, from one customer that's in one bank to another, that check takes 3 days to verify, right? Whereas blockchain, right. Whereas Bitcoins can verify that pretty much quicker, and it's getting quicker. And every time a new version, comes out of, or a new coin comes out with special properties, much faster. For example, Bitcoin Cash has a larger block size, which means it can process transactions faster. So it's all about pretty much the verification process. Right now, if you go and purchase something off the internet, maybe use PayPal. Well, your PayPal goes to your bank, and your bank goes through whatever. So there's just a lot of hops in between in order for you to get that end product.
Well, something amazing about PayPal is that our clients do pay us via PayPal, and I'm able to log into PayPal, and I can have my money that was paid to me by my customer in my bank account tomorrow. In fact, if I do it today, it will show up shortly after midnight in my bank account. Now, it used to take 3 to 4 days. They've gotten it down to 1 day, and I've heard recently that they are working with a few. They sent me an email. We're working with a few select customers like myself, and you'll have 1 day access to your money. Does that in any way involve the blockchain, or is that just something PayPal is doing to try to stay competitive?
Oh yeah, I mean PayPal's been competitive for a while, and they've been really improving their services recently. But there's a recent article I read. One of the co-founders of PayPal said that what our dream was to have like a system like Bitcoin or blockchain. That was our end. They want to have a decentralized system. They may have plans to maybe deploy something in the future. So. You said that you can get your money from PayPal the next day in your account. That's because PayPal is so big they can handle letting that transaction go through faster. However, it's still faster than Bitcoin.
Gotcha. Yeah, because Bitcoin that's instantaneous, right? Right
now it's about depending on your wallet and providers between 15 minutes and an hour. With the new, with services improving, that will increase. They'll be faster. But it's still faster than anything else out there.
Okay. So we have Bitcoin, we have Ether, we have Travel Coin, and I know that there are a lot of other cryptocurrencies out there that I don't know the name of, but how many will there be? Is there a need for that many? Will the industry consolidate? Will there ultimately be a winner? Maybe you're old enough, I'm not sure, but a number of years ago there was a war between VHS and Sony Betamax. Some people bought the VHS, some people bought the Betamax, and eventually, as we all know, the VHS won out. And then we saw it with DVDs and Blu-ray and what format was going to, be the ultimate winner. Will there be an ultimate winner in the cryptocurrency? Will there be a de facto standard? Or will it always be as it is now with, different coins for different things?
Yeah, you'll definitely see, this is kind of an evolutionary process. It's combining technology and business together, and you get, you evolve something out of it. There's, each coin, different coins have different purposes, but you're going to see the main ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash, and Ripple, and these guys stay on top for a while, and then it'll be an evolutionary process, right? The better, the best system, the best platform will survive. Right now, there's over 1,000 different kind of coins. You can go to coinmarketcap.com and see all these coins and see how much their volume and their market caps are. Do we need more? I'm not sure, but you're gonna see more and more ICOs coming out and more coins come out. This is almost like websites. In the 90s, early 90s, everybody was registering websites. Do we need more websites? Hey, they're still being created. So I guess only time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the website names, the domains that people bought, digital real estate. I tried to buy jobs for Africa a couple days ago. They wanted over $4,000 for that, and we're now, when the internet first started out, there was two. You could either go, well, in the beginning you could go to AOL. That was about it, and then along came Yahoo.
Right.
I mean, there really wasn't this concept of all these websites and web pages, and I remember the term, the info superhighway. I mean, that's such an archaic term to think of today, because I mean, the internet was AOL. Mm-hmm. Prior to AOL, I mean, I was on the internet. I was on the bulletin boards and message boards at universities, and I'm trying to think of the first company that you could actually use to log on to the internet in its infancy. I don't know if that company's still around. I don't recall their name. But okay, if I have Bitcoin and or if I have Ether, and I'm looking at that site you just recommended, coinmakercap.com. What would be
CoinMarket?
Yeah, coinmarketcap.com. I've got that up on the screen.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin has a market cap of $66 billion. Is that correct?
Exactly.
And Ethereum's at 30 billion. Bitcoin Cash is at 10 billion. Ripple, we used to drink that in high school. That's 8 billion. There's Litecoin, IOTA, Neo.
Yep.
Now I hear Neo is one to watch. That's out of China, correct? NEO.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Neo. Yeah, Neo's kind of like Chinese version of the Ethereum. And it has the special properties about Neo is that its code, its framework is able to be programmed with many different kind of programming languages, whereas Ethereum can be only coded with Solidity, right? So Neo just allows for more flexibility in different platforms, and I'm going to say, you're going to see Neo rise in the future.
We're going to see what with Neo now? Say it again.
Yeah, you're going to see Neo performing well and staying on the top 10 charts because of its framework and how it's able to fit in easily with different kind of programming languages. So you're going to see Neo be successful.
Okay, because I just scrolled down the list at coinmarketcap.com. I see 100 different coins. How would a person know where to put their money? What are some things that a person should look for? And also, let's say I have a Bitcoin account and I have some Bitcoins in it. Why would I want to own Travel Coin in addition to the Bitcoin? Help us understand the benefit of having Bitcoin and also having Travel Coin.
Yeah. So when you're buying out other coins, or if you're moving your Bitcoin to other coins, you would want to study the team, study the vision. Is this something that's going to be viable? Is this something I'm going to use in the future? Do they have a product out, right? Do they have any software? Do they have any work in progress models, right? So these are all, because it's so new, people are scrambling to get these stuff developed, right? Just like back in the day when the websites were coming out, you needed to go find HTML developers to get your site up and running, right?
Right.
So you're kind of seeing the same rush. So people are rushing to develop Ethereum software and Bitcoin software, right? So a lot of the stuff is in early stages. A lot of the companies, because this is developed so fast, a lot of the systems are in development. So we have our second versions of our ticketing system. We're working on our third and final version. They'll be available on our site. You can go on and post your own ticket, whether to an event or whether to, whatever you want, and it'll be available for people to pick up. So again, looking at all these.
I'm on the homepage of your site, travelcoins.io, right now. It's loading up.
Correct.
I remember as I was scrolling down, I see low fee tickets for all. How soon will we be able to actually buy? Now I know I missed your ICO. That was a couple weeks ago. That was your initial offering, and people were able to buy Travel Coin. But right now, you can't. Correct?
That's correct. So, because it's limited time, because once you've created the coin, once you create the legend, you can't go back. So once the sale is closed,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot go back and change the ledger again, change the number of coins in the ledger.
Okay. So how much am I going to hate
however-
myself because I missed this ICO?
You know what? There's many other ways you can participate and still make a contribution. Whether if you want to be an investor, or whether you have an existing ticketing platform and you want to do some integration. We're working on with exchanges to get ourselves posted. So you can still buy it once it comes on an exchange. You can still buy it.
Mm-hmm.
However, in an ICO, you just get it at a discounted rate.
I see. Okay.
Correct. So that's why you have, these large investors picking up the majority of these coins off these ICOs because, they're like, wow, they know that it's going to do well. They know blockchain is going to be the future. So it's kind of like a win-win situation.
Yeah, it's, whether, Bitcoin's the big winner or Ether, and in your space, travel coin, one thing's for certain. This blockchain technology, this distributed ledger system, this is here to stay. This is the future, right?
That's correct. I mean, we've already given, Bitcoins have been around for 9 years. If there was something to throw it off, it would have been thrown off by now, right? Yeah, there are external, it's just like a game. You have, however, in the real world, you have many external factors, right? So all these external factors pointing to Bitcoin, you have to take into consideration. But so far in the past 9 years, people that try, you can throw anything at it, it's still there and it's still running.
A question from the audience. What would happen to cryptocurrency if suddenly a world currency was created?
You still have to have the support, right? Anybody can make a currency, but if you don't have the support of the people, it's no good,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can make a world currency, but you have to have the supporters and the infrastructure behind it to get it going.
Okay. So hopefully, Wayne and the audience there, that answers your question. And Darlene says that her and her husband just bought some Ethereum. I did too. I didn't buy a lot. I just thought, I gotta. If I'm going to talk about this on a daily basis, I've got to be able to say I own a little something. And I went to your site, and again, I talked to you on the phone yesterday, and I explained I went to the shopping cart, and I was unable to make a purchase. But you say within a couple months you'll be able to purchase from your site. And I think I asked you yesterday about an IPO. Are you planning to do a traditional IPO for TravelCoin and turn it into a publicly traded company?
I'm sure we may have future rounds of contribution, future rounds of public offerings.
Mm-hmm.
We do want to develop and make partners first before we want to make our base. We want to prove to people that, hey, you know what, this is working and you're saving money. So we want to get to that step first before we make some other offerings.
Are you currently in a financing round right now? Are you actively raising funds?
Well, we raised our funds during our ICO.
Okay.
However, we are still actively open with new partners and new investors.
Okay. And so if someone wanted to discuss that with you, what would be the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, you can check us out. We have our email address on our website, travelcoin.io, okay. And our email address is info@travelcoins.io.
Okay. So if someone was looking to make an investment in the company itself, they could contact you through that address.
Definitely.
Okay. Now, John, are you still on the line with us? John, are you still on the line? Yeah, I think he had to pick up the phone. Just wanted to see if he had any questions that he wanted to ask. We've taken up most of our time that we allotted today, but I do want to stay in touch with you. And as the story of Travel Coin unfolds, I'd like to have you on periodically and see this thing develop. I feel like we almost caught it in its infancy. We missed it by a couple of weeks, but very interested to chronicle this with you. Are there any parting comments that you'd like to make to the audience? Anything you'd like to share that you think the average person in the street doesn't know or doesn't understand, but needs to know and needs to understand about the future of all this?
Yeah, this stuff is blockchain technologies has definitely proven itself. The adoption is just going to increase and is on the rise. So if you're willing to make, an investment, even a small amount, doesn't matter. Maybe even 1 Ethereum or half an Ethereum. Just participate in it and, get to learn your surroundings. With such a large market cap, it's something you cannot ignore, right? So participate in it, learn about it, and maybe even bring it in, talk about it in your own workplace and see how it can help you or, your workplace get forward.
Okay. Well, once again, I do want to thank you for taking the time to come on with us. And as you have news develop, if you have any press releases coming out, and if you'd like to speak and share with our audience, you know how to contact me. Get a hold of me, and we'll be happy to have you back on the show. And if I don't hear from you in the next 2 weeks to a month, I'll be in touch with you and invite you back to tell us how things are progressing.
Definitely, Dwayne. It was a pleasure to be on. Pleasure to chat with you guys, and I'll definitely join with you guys in the future and chat about travel coin or other Bitcoin related topics.
Okay, and you are located in San Francisco, is that correct?
No, we're actually in Toronto, Canada.
You're in Toronto, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, I thank you so much for being with us, and we look forward to the next opportunity to speak with you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Amal Safi, Director and CEO of TravelCoins.io. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye now.
Bye now.
Well, there you go, guys. Another peek into the world of cryptocurrencies. Now, again, we started talking about Bitcoin years ago when it was $2. Then, most recently, we spoke with Tyler Evans, the CTO of Bitcoin Magazine and BTC Media. We just spoke with Amal Safi, Director of Travel Coins. All of this is based on the blockchain technology. Now, along with Travel Coin, because people love to travel, there's business travel, and with the baby boomers retiring, a lot of them will be using their retirement funds to travel and see the world. One that really caught my attention was this NEO, formerly Ant Shares, is China's first ever open source blockchain. Founded in 2014, NEO's mission has been to reinvent the way commerce is done. We believe technology drives progress, and together we can create the future motivated by this. NEO has been created to shift our traditional economy into the new era of the smart economy. China is an awfully big place, in case you didn't know. Have a look at the map, and there's an awful lot of people. The current price of NEO is down almost 1% on the day, for whatever reason. It's It's currently trading at 34.89. I'm assuming that's US dollars. Circulating supply is 50 million. Total supply is 100 million. Volume, because that has a dollar sign in it in front of it, unless that's a mistake. I don't know what that means, and maybe that's the dollar value of volume that traded today. Here again is the market cap, and we've been up as high on this NEO as $59. $59 is the high. We've pulled back, well, somewhere between 24 and 38%, it looks like, to today's price, 34.89. I would not be opposed myself personally being long NEO from here. A pullback to this level below $18, and I think I would be tempted, right or wrong, to load the boat. Now, this is not a solicitation to buy or sell any commodity, stock, or cryptocurrency. I'm just telling you what has my attention at the moment. Trade volume, 24-hour volume rankings. You know, Bitcoin's definitely at the top. Or is Ethereum? These are all offshoots of Bitcoin somehow. The Ethereum, that's where I'm at. I'm not in big, but as things progress, it was just easier to step up to the plate on Ethereum than it was Bitcoin, quite frankly. Tools, global charts. What I want to know is, can you on the NEO site, can you simply buy some NEO? On Travel Coin, you can't. Keep seeing and hearing about. That is how the Internet of Things will function, by issuing these smart contracts for very minute transaction amounts. Here, let's just ask the Internet. How do you buy NEO? Can you? How to buy Ant shares, NEO beginner's guide. Apparently you can buy them from CoinSwitch. Where can I buy NEO shares? If you're not on Quora, there's some really smart people there. Let's see what this first one says. Create a Coinbase account. I got an email from them. I think they're going to be on the show soon as well. First, head on over to the Coinbase sign-up page. Within minutes, you'll be rocking with a really user-friendly wallet and marketplace for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Is Coinbase where I created my account? It might be. It was either Coinbase or Coinigy or Gemini. We'll buy Bitcoin here, which you will trade to buy NEO. Okay. Why can't I buy NEO with USD or local currency? Simply not possible yet. Hopefully someday soon. The crucial part here is the ability to buy these coins with cash, credit, debit. Functionality lacking on most of the marketplaces I have found, especially where you're trying to come up on some more unique cryptocurrencies. PayPal, bank transfers, create a Bittrex account. Bittrex is where you'll be actually bidding on Ant shares or NEO or any other of the currencies they offer for that matter. But more on that in the next step. First, create the Bittrex account. Okay. Buy some Bitcoin on Coinbase. Transfer Bitcoin to Bittrex. Bid on some Ant shares. Evaluate. NEO wallet. This is quite fascinating, guys. We are on the cutting edge of how the next generations will live their life. I know that some people still want to poo-poo it and not buy into it, and that's okay. You know, God bless America. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But one thing, I may have missed Twitter, and I may have, well, I said short Facebook to $12. It did fall all the way to 18, so I came pretty close. Twitter, I said I can't make any sense of it. And it was years later that went public. So while, and I missed Bitcoin when I was yakking about it at $2, but it's the blockchain technology. That's the thing that's not going to go away. The distributed ledger technology. Now, is TravelCoin going to take off? I don't know. Is NEO out of China going to be, you know, one of the big winners? I don't know. Will Bitcoin be here a year from now? I'm pretty sure. Ether? Yep. I don't think that's going anywhere. As far as the other 100 on that list we looked at, I have no clue. But we're going to continue to mine away and learn as much as we can in the coming weeks and months so that we can actually make some intelligent decisions about what we're going to do with our future. Now, let's jump real quick to the Concierge Trade Alerts that we have covered and haven't covered as of yet. We covered the S&P. Consider buying 24.39. That was the email that went out last night. Ran up 9.5 points so far. And we've got a huge move to the upside, potentially in the works, from 47 to 69. So that's a 20-point move, and today's only Tuesday, so it's certainly possible. On the Dow, we said to consider buying 21,760 at a 15-point move at an 83. Well, it's gone beyond 83 points now. Soybeans, we had a 6 3/4 point rally at $50 per point. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Bonds, we said to consider selling 155.19, and it just broke that level right there. Okay? So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Crude oil, we're now trading the GCLV contract, and as you can see here, price has gone from zone to zone, almost made it to the zone, came back to the zone, up to the zone, and where does it look like it's headed? Back down to the zone. These are this week's zones. Okay. Now let's go to gold. Yep. Gold, we said to consider selling $12.93. We had a $480 per contract drop, and then we had a $600 per contract drop. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. And we came back, got above the trigger, and now we're in the middle of a drop that's it's dropped a little over $200. The low on this move is $12.90.40. So about 260 bucks so far. Now we never get out at the swing high or swing low because we trail our stop. Okay. And when you trail your stop, what that means is you're always going to leave a little something on the table. Okay. For those of you that didn't get a chance to get a screenshot earlier, there you go. And for those of you that don't know how to take the free trial, if you go to emini.cfrn.net, look for the guy, the baseball guy. It's always going to be at the top of the page. Okay. To go straight to the $1 for 5-day trial, click here. By using this link, there's no automatic rollover. It includes access to the live training room and our indicators as well. It's not great, it's swell. Now, when it says no automatic rollover, in the beginning you could take a 5-day trial, and if you didn't cancel, it would roll you into a quarterly membership. Well, people who just wanted to kick the tires and didn't really, want a subscription, they would forget to cancel, and it created so many headaches that we stopped that. So use this link. You'll pay $1. You'll get the alerts in your email 5 trading nights in a row. Okay. And then it'll stop. At that point, you have to contact us and say, yo, I want to get a quarterly subscription or an annual subscription, or I'm already a partner and I know one time you grandfathered some people in and I don't know. How can I become a Concierge Trade Alert client? And we'll figure out something that works for you. Okay? All right. Now, keep in mind that discretionary trading, which is what the Concierge Trade Alerts are, is very different than the rules-based trading that we do in the live training room. In the training room, all you have to do is learn the basic set of rules, follow them to the letter, and you'll be fine. Okay? Discretionary trading, you're looking for larger targets. Like yesterday, gold ran up $1,100 per contract. Okay? But there's also additional risk, and you have to know how to read a chart. You have to know where to put your stop. And that's what I teach you in the private mentoring sessions in the afternoon. Okay? So emini.cfrn.net, right above the baseball player, that's where you can take your 5-day trial. It will cost you $1, but that's all it will cost. After 5 days, the alerts will stop, and if you want to become a Concierge client, you will have to contact us. Okay? On the Russell, what did the Russell do? By 1363. That looks like right here. Okay, so if you bought 1363 and you placed your stop below the most recent swing low, which was right here, you got stopped out for a couple dollars. That's the truth about trading. Anyone who tells you they have a method where you'll never get stopped out again, they're either insane or they should be locked up for lying to you, because that's not possible. The best trader on Wall Street, the sharpest guy, with the co-located servers and a staff running around and big screens all over the place, he's only going to be profitable on his best day 7 out of 10 trades. And guess what? He knows that. So when he gets stopped out, when a trade doesn't go as he had hoped it would, it doesn't even faze him. He understands that's part of the business. Now, if you're an airline pilot, you have to land the plane properly 100% of the time. Now, the good news is the runway is always in the same place, whereas the market is a moving target. And there are so many moving parts. There are so many things taking place, so many factors involved, so many people, so many reasons, that it is not scientifically possible, mechanically possible, or humanly possible to predict what the market is going to do next. No one or no thing can tell you if the next tick is going to be up or down on the Russell. They can guess, and if 10 people guess, probably 4 of them will be right. Well, wait a minute, shouldn't 5 of them be right? Funny how that works, isn't it? So, on this one, you took a little stop, not much, and then we ran up to 1369. Is that right? 69.30. So we'll call it 6 points. That's $300 per contract. That's what the market made available. If you figure out how to get out at the exact swing high or swing low, I will pay you dead presidents to teach me. Okay, let's get rid of the fibs and have a look. Now, I sent out some tweets last night, one of them being the NASDAQ, and I guess I can show that to you if you promise not to tell. Okay, let me bring up my Twitter feed. I also put it on the Google Plus blog, so as long as you're following me in one of those 2 places, then you got it and you had a chance to participate, and that's good for you. Okay, on the NQ, let's bring this baby out and take a look. Oh, I posted a bunch of old videos. On my Facebook feed the other day, one of our shows popped up from 2010, and so I shared that, and some people really enjoyed it. It's got the old theme song and the whole 9 yards. Okay, the first tweet I put out last night was consider being long the S&P 500 Emini Futures 2435 to 2437 unless you're already long from the previous video, which I think I got you long at 34. But anyway, so we had 2 trades that worked out very well from 35 to 37. Never risk more than the target you're shooting for. Not ever. Let's see. The soybean trade never triggered to the upside. The NASDAQ was to be long 58.38 to 58.48. Now, that was 58.38 to 58.48. 58.38. Okay, basically the tweet was worth 10 points. That's not what I wanted. $58.38 to $58.48 equals $200 per contract available. Okay. Boy, I got that really wrong. How about 58.38 to 58.48? 10 points at $20 per point. So that went from here, 58.38, to here, 58.48, but we went another 20 points up to 68. So if you were trailing your stop, there was actually $600 per contract available there. Now, on the Concierge Trade Alert, what we had there was on the NQ, consider buying 58.17. 58.17, which really made for a nice trade. 58.17. Oh goodness. 58.17. Okay, buy 58.17. That's what the email said last night. The email went out way ahead of those tweets. Okay, important prices, important areas we know are almost always tested. So from 58.17 we get up to 58.28. So that's 11 points times $20 per point. So that's another couple $100 move. Okay. And then price gets back below the trigger, off it goes again. We put in a high at 58.75.50. So 75 minus 17 is 58 points at $20 per point. Almost $1,200 per contract available. $58 times $20 per point. Almost $1,200 per contract. Okay. All right, I think we've covered them all. We covered crude. Yeah. Covered crude. Covered the NASDAQ. Covered the Russell. Covered gold. Covered bonds. And the beans. And the Dow. Dow's continued to climb past 83 points. And the S&P is still consolidating in this little 1-point zone here at 2446/47. Now, the S&P is going to do one of two things. It is going to retrace back to the zone below, or it's going to attempt a run at the zone overhead. Now, I would tell you that by the time we talk tomorrow on the radio show, the price will either be at this zone or the zone overhead. But I'm not going to do that because of the distance involved. That's a big move. And so to say with confidence, by the show tomorrow, it will have made it there. Here's what I will do. Today's Tuesday. I will say that by tomorrow, price will have either come back to this zone, or by Thursday, it will have made it to this zone. How about that? And why am I saying that? Yeah. Just because it's going to be attracted to one or the two. Okay? I mean, for all we know, this is the top for the week. From here, the market could start to sell off. If the rally continues, even if we get above this highest weekly zone, because we still have 3 full trading days left, by close of business on Friday, we would expect price to be at or below 2470. That's based on historical observance going all the way back to December 14th of 2009. Okay, our good word for the day. We started yesterday about science and the Bible, and I tell you that a great book is The Signature of God by Dr. Grant Jeffries. I read that probably back in 2000, and it's hung with me ever since. Science in the Bible. Isaiah 40:22, which, by the way, was written a long time ago. He sits above the circle of the earth. The Bible tells us the earth is round. In Isaiah 40:22, he sits above the circle of the earth. The word circle comes from a Hebrew word which can also be translated as circuit. The book of Isaiah was written about 700 years before the birth of Christ. That's at least 300 years before Aristotle suggested in his book on the heavens that the earth might be a sphere. Another 2,000 years later, at a time when ordinary people believed the earth was flat, Christopher Columbus was inspired by Scripture to sail around the world. Christopher Columbus wrote this: "It was the Lord who put it into my mind. I could feel his hand upon me. There is no question the inspiration came from the Holy Spirit, because he comforted me with rays of a marvelous illumination from the Holy Scriptures." This is from the diary of Christopher Columbus in reference to his discovery of the New World. Now, the Bible teaches oceanography. In the 19th century, Matthew Fontaine Maury, who is called the father of modern oceanography and naval meteorology, read the words of David describing the paths of the sea in Psalm 8:8. He said, if God said there are paths in the sea, I'm going to find them. Today we are indebted to his discovery of the warm and cold ocean currents. His book on oceanography remains a basic text on the subject and is still used in universities today. This is a book written in the 19th century. And Psalm 8:8 was written way before that. His book on oceanography remains a basic text on the subject. It is still used in universities today. So the next time you meet someone who questions the accuracy of the scriptures, smile graciously and tell them how the Bible has been the basis of historical exploration and scientific discovery. I'll throw one more at you that's not actually a part of today's good word, but this one I always found fascinating. I believe it was in Isaiah that it was first stated, life is in the blood. Modern science did not recognize that and understand that until the late 1800s. You know, Moses had 600 laws that he had to follow. I mean, I don't know how in the world this man remembered them all. Maybe he had guys carrying around stone tablets. I don't know. But one of the rules, and this stuck with me from reading The Signature of God by Dr. Grant Jeffries, was that if your bowl that you ate out of, or the cup you drank out of, if you dropped it or something happened and it developed a crack, you had to destroy it. And you had to make a new one or buy a new one. Why? Well, if you have a bowl that you eat out of at every meal, they were simple folks, they had no Tupperware. Bacteria can get down in that crack and grow and multiply to the point where the food you're eating is actually poisoning you and ultimately kills you. So the children of Israel were instructed, if your food bowl or your drinking vessel develops a crack, you must destroy it and get a new one. Now, you gotta believe that made absolutely no sense to the children of Israel. What? A bowl costs a half a day's labor, or a drinking vessel costs half a day's labor. I don't understand. God was trying to keep his people from getting sick. It wasn't until the late 1800s that modern science began to understand bacteria. And that if you had a bowl with a crack in it and you continued to use it, because they didn't have a dishwasher to put it in, make you sick. Isn't that amazing? Many of you have heard of the Black Plague in England. Oh gosh, back in the, I think it was the 1500s. People were dying left and right. I mean, it was horrible. And so the leaders of England gathered together some scholarly priests and said, can you pray? Can you talk to your God? Can you help us? Well, it's either in Isaiah or Deuteronomy. Children of Israel are instructed When you got to go to the bathroom, you must go far away from the camp, take a shovel, dig a hole, do your business, cover it up, then come back to camp. Well, in England, when this plague struck and tens, if not hundreds of thousands were dying and no one understood why, England had no sewer system. So raw sewage was running in the streets. And that's what was killing people. And so these priests, after studying the text of the Bible and talking to the political leaders, said, hey, if we can do something about this raw sewage running down the street, we think that's your problem. People aren't going outside of the camp, digging a hole and burying their business. It's just running down the streets. So when they fixed that problem, people stopped dying. Science does not disprove the Bible. Modern science proves the Bible over and over, again and again. Tell your neighbor. He might not know that. Okay, if you want to take a trial in our live training room, go to apply.cfrn.net. apply.cfrn.net. All we need is your name, your email address, and we're good to go. You'll spend 5 consecutive trading days, so you can start on a Wednesday and you'll still get 5 days. If you have Ninja, we'll turn on our indicators there. If you don't have a platform, we will lend you a demo platform. It'll look just like the one I'm using now. Live data. You get to use our indicators for a full week. Come to class every day. Have a mentoring session. And at the end of the week, you can ask yourself, is this what I've been looking for? I want to be consistently profitable in the market. Is this it? Can I learn this? Can I do this? Well, I got to tell you, it's the simplest methodology that you're going to find. You don't have to use fibs. You don't need any Bollinger Bands. You don't need any stochastics. You don't need an advanced decline line. All these things that people tell you you need, that's just so they can sell you more stuff. They complicate what's actually quite simple. Michael and I learned that the hard way. We went the way of the world. More stuff, more stuff, more stuff. Till we realized it wasn't getting us anywhere. Sometimes less really is more. Come to the training room and let us show you how less really is more. Especially in this case. Okay? If you're already on the trial, you should receive an email today from Michael that gives you all the information on what you need to do to become a CFRN partner. Okay? If you have any questions, email support@cfrn.net or call us at 949-423-6464. Again, support@cfrn.net or 949-42-EMINI. Got that? You bet you do. Once again, our thanks to Mr. Emil Safi, Director and CEO over at Travel Coins. We'll continue to follow that story and all things dealing with blockchain technology, distributed ledger. We've always been the station about all things Emini. We're going to become the station about all things Emini and all things blockchain. Here's what you have to wrap your brain around, okay? Bitcoin's Bitcoin. Ether's Ether. You can disavow them and say they're of the devil. That's okay. Doesn't matter. The blockchain technology, which is what these live on, exist on, make possible, the distributed ledger system, that is the future. That is not going to go away. Now, we looked at 100 different cryptocurrencies today on that one chart. I have no way of telling you which one's going to fly high and which one's going to die. But the technology they're based on, blockchain, distributed ledger, man, that's here to stay. It's not going away. So whether you participate in it by investing in the coins themselves, or simply using them as a form of currency, or building some kind of business that utilizes the technology, you know, that may be where the next wave of entrepreneurs come from. Figuring out a way to use this new technology. So, give it some thought. I'll be here tomorrow. Hope you will too. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.